Almighty God, grant us the courage of Jesus Christ, your Son, to face the coronavirus pandemic with trust, strength, compassion, and resiliency. Give us the grace of the Holy Spirit to free us from fear and anxiety so we may do actions of help and support and look forward to our healing with hope. We pray for the health workers, food liners, maintenance cleaners, logistics abler, government leaders, and volunteers who continuously come together to deliver our daily needs to survive. Guide us from this time of crisis. Preserve us in peace. Protect the weak and vulnerable and those who serve the society during this pandemic. This we ask and pray in Jesus' name, our Savior. Amen. Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kantang tatak Pinoy. Kahit nasan ka man, kami ay mapapakinggan. Streaming worldwide, the future of radio in Manila, California, and Hong Kong. This is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin. Radio, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Paborito ng bawat Pilipino, basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan, kahit nasaan ka man ito'y mapapakinggan. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. Dahil mahal namin kayo. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program anchors and producers and do not necessarily reflect the policies and position of this station.
All right. right, welcome everybody to the latest episode of Mysterium After Dark. My name is Rubin, and once again, I'm honored to have you all here during this enhanced community quarantine. I mean, this is the very least we can do in order to keep you all entertained. So today we have a very interesting guest. She is one of the founders of the online healing community, and it's an advocacy that was really gained my respect really quickly because when the ECQ started and all the lockdown started, this organization started bringing together a multitude of different talents of different walks and belief systems in order to help their message reach different people and different organizations and basically different audiences. And especially during this time right now, I believe that healing and mindfulness is going to be very, very essential to the overall well-being of everyone. Simply put, because a lot of people are undergoing a lot of stress, a lot of people are afraid, a lot of people are insecure about what's happening. And by focusing on healing, by offering meditation workshops, distance learning programs, and basically just spreading the joys of intuitive learning, basically what's going to end up happening is you're going to keep people focused on the positive and not on the negative. So it's without further ado that I'd like to invite or welcome to the show Miss Chris Estampador. Welcome to the show, Chris. Hello, and welcome to Mysterium After Dark.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Hi, Rob. Wow, you sound so seasoned. You're so good at this. Good.
Well, thank you, darling. Been doing it for years. So tell us more about yourself. What got you started in doing this? And what's your original reason why you got behind the wheel and started this project?
I don't know. It was just like a fish in water, Started feng shui, and then I understood it very, very quickly. I was able to apply it very quickly. Everything made sense. And then it kind of like snowballed, meditation came into the fray, and then you're able to, I am ADHD. That's why I could feel the difference between having a calm mind and being all over the place, the very stark difference of that. And so I was able to enjoy those pockets of stillness and silence when I learned to meditate. But of course, that's when you also realize that your journey is so much bigger and that your mind is way so much bigger than what has school or what has life taught you. And then you go ahead and learn other things, more of the intuitive arts, more of the healing arts, consciousness expansion. It's pretty fun.
Amazing. So what was your inspiration of putting up the online healing community? I mean, a lot of people just like to take these practices for the personal level, but you took it in a very similar direction to what I took it when you basically started bringing people together and offering a platform. So what inspired you to do that?
Well, I've been in this practice for about 15 years. I think a little more than 15 years. And we've always been very quiet about it because it's kind of hard to mention it to people, and a lot of people are resistant to it because because they don't understand it, and that's totally just fine. And then the opportunity comes, we're stuck in our houses, we're in quarantine. It's a great time to be able to stop and just reflect. Everything else is stopped. You have no excuse to just be by yourself and able to calm your mind and get into that state of being able to just receive and learn just by yourself,
All right. So what was the original vision of when you started online healing community? Like, what would you want? What did you visualize it for?
Well, first I was a bit short-sighted. I just wanted everybody to meditate together online. I just wanted a meditation kind of thing. I was even thinking just for an hour, then it became a morning to evening event with bringing in all these healers and all that, different kinds of healers, whether it was sound healing, either bowl or gong, meditation, and Reiki even. And they just came, and everybody else came. I guess there were a lot of people who wanted to be open about about their practice as well. And there's a lot of them, but they're just quiet. So I'm really, really glad that a lot of people came forward.
Amazing. And will you be teaching anything yourself?
Pardon?
Will you be teaching anything yourself?
Yes. Mine would focus on children and adults with special needs because I'm a special needs mom. I have 2 boys with autism, and it's what led me to this journey of intuitive learning. It's an intuitive healing. I can connect more with my boys simply because by being in the state of equanimity and focusing on the heart. And it's not about healing autism. It's about healing my relationship with my boys and being able to project that relationship outward with other people, and hopefully
You know,
healing all the problems with other people.
I have a question for you, Chris.
Mhm.
Especially, I have kids of my own, and Western medicine is very quick to labeling children with disorders. Like on more than one occasion, have people told me that my children were either ADHD, autistic, etc., etc. And if we're gonna try to reconcile that with the intuitive practices, sometimes I am kind of like skeptical about all the labels that are given to children at times, because like the number of ADHD and autistic kids has spiked dramatically since I was a child. You know what I mean? It's like it's so quick. Oh, you're ADHD. Oh, you're autistic. Oh, you're OCD. So I'm curious, could these could these misdiagnoses at times be just basically resorted by, let's say, a very intuitive or even potentially an indigo or rainbow child?
Yeah, pretty much. That's also what I wanted to talk about with people that I wasn't so sure if I could broadcast it here. But yes, pretty much, because these kids are relying on their other senses.
Yeah.
All of these kids, whatever their disability is, they cannot rely on their physical senses. They pretty much lack on that one. So they're going to rely on their other senses: sense of judgment, sense of direction, uh, and everything like that. And they're sharper on that one. If you could focus on that one, you'll be able to see how how well they know themselves.
Mhm.
That they don't have to depend on their physical sense, and they have other senses that can help them navigate throughout the world. And it's about us being able to understand how they operate within that.
You know, it's very interesting that you shared that, because I'm willing to bet that there are a lot of parents out there who probably are afraid, because of course it'd be a fear of any parent to be told that there's something wrong with their child. You know, like just be told, oh God, your son is autistic. Oh God, your son is ADHD. But when in fact they're just highly intuitive or highly spiritual, or an indigo child, or maybe a crystal child. What is something that you would recommend to the parents out there who are kind of like confused? Is my child extremely gifted, or is my child in need of medical attention? What would you recommend to parents like that?
You can be in between. It's okay.
Hmm.
You don't have to shock yourself. Oh, my child's very intuitive, and I'm gonna do all these things over here for intuitive healing. Oh no, my son just has problems with his gut or some problems with his eyes. I'll just go over here and do
Hmm.
that. Yeah. And you can be in between about it. But the best way to be in between about it and to be able to discern when you're gonna go in whichever direction is to be able to understand who you are, to be able to be in that state of I always use this word, equanimity.
Oh, cool.
And it's not just being still. People people it's not because your stillness, it just seems so like nothing's happening. But of course there's a thought that's happening and that's being created. If you could stick to that vision that you want a child that's happy, connected with themselves, connected with you,
Hmm.
you can start with that. You can start with that, and everything else will follow. Whether you go in the direction of energy healing or you go in the direction of um, of special education or even biomedical intervention or all of
Hmm.
that, for as long as you can hold it within yourself, that's okay. That's quite all right.
And do you come across a lot of children who have these
Oh yeah.
imbalances?
Oh yes. And I love these children. I'm a volunteer for Special Olympics,
Hmm.
and I
Very
love
noble of you.
I love seeing these athletes having fun.
Because like one thing about it is, even from my own experiences growing up, especially if you're very intuitive,
Mhm.
nowadays the children, if you ask me, are even more intuitive than the previous generations, because it's more of a norm. During
Mhm.
my youth, and I'm like 37 now, so that was probably like God knows how 30 years ago. If I
Yeah.
would say if I would say I'm hearing a spirit or I'm sensing energy, the first thing that people would say, either I'm crazy or I'm
Mhm.
delusional. You understand? But as a parent, we never were really taught, like, what if your child really is seeing spirits? What if
Mhm.
your child really is picking up energy? You understand?
You can imagine
So
wanting to run out the door.
exactly. So like, how do you address this to parents who? Because like, okay, I'll just share a bit. I always assume whenever I meet a child with an intuitive gift, not that there's something wrong with them. It's just that
Mhm.
they don't understand their gift. You understand? I would never really tell a child, no, you're crazy, you're delusional. I'll always give them the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
But sometimes parents are not that open to that. They're like, no, 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 no. They're ADHD, bipolar, schizophrenic, blah, blah. They just want the whole list of terms. So how do you kind of break that thought form down to make them be a bit more open to this reality within their children?
Oh, wow. My favorite is love your kids first.
Good. That's a good one.
Love your kids first. And you can imagine how hard it is for them to think that. No, I have to do something more tangible. I have to help my son finish all their academic requirements so they can go to college and be a better and everything like that. But what they don't know is the kid is feeling the pressure and everything, and they're even challenged with the reading. Some kids have these reading challenges, have these listening challenges. But why can't you just focus on loving your kids first?
I love that. Loving your kids first. Isn't that the most beautiful thing you can do for them, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. And then you don't have to teach them now, especially if you don't know how. Really, parents, you are I'll tell you this. Even I tell myself this. Parents are usually the worst teachers for their kids because of what the pressures that they impose on themselves are being reflected on these children. Now, if you're the kind of parent who can keep it together, who's okay whether your kid fails or not, then maybe you could be a great parent who's also a great teacher. But if you're not, don't force yourself to be that teacher. If you can't teach them now, why don't you just love them now and you'll find that opportunity to be able to teach them tomorrow.
What's your advice for the parents out there? Somebody saying hi, Asami. What's your advice for the parents out there who are pretty convinced that they have an indigo or crystal child as a child, but they don't know how to address this kind of children? What's your immediate advice for that?
Don't freak out.
That's a good one. Good one.
Don't freak out. Because these children are very, very intuitive, and they will pick up energy, but they cannot, since they're young, they cannot discern this energy that they're feeling. Like, for example, if the parent is stressed out, but the parent is keeping it together, still working across the laptop, but really going through a very stressful time with a document or something, the child can definitely feel it.
Definitely.
But the child doesn't know that it's the parents' energy and not theirs. So rest assured, parents, while you're being stressed out, your child is going to reflect that stress back on you, and they don't even know what they're doing. It's not their fault. They're just reflecting it back to you. That's why it's always very important for me to tell parents, wait, if you're stressed out, step back. It's okay. If you need to stay away from the kids because you have to finish this, that's quite all right too. Because your kids are feeling the stress, they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. They're going to be very, very confused. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a bit of a segue before we go to our first break of more about the online healing community. What are the things that we can look forward to in the months to come along with this movement that you started? I mean, what are some of the things you can share with us that you would like to accomplish if everything goes accordingly?
Okay. Right now, what's happening is that a lot of people, there seems to be a lot of beginners who want to learn more about meditation and healing. So we've been doing these introductory webinars on the Facebook page. The Facebook page is called Online Healing Community, but we want to bring it a little bit further beyond introductions. We want it to be a conduit for all matters of spiritual knowledge. As far as we can go, because there are so many levels of practitioners out there. You have your beginners, you have your advanced, you have your intermediate, you have your people who are probably galactic or cosmic already.
Yeah, fifth dimensional.
And we can talk about abundance, manifestation mindset, abundance mindset, prosperity mindset, anything. We're not just going to change how the way you think about the world. We want you to have to be able to heal your thought processes, to be able to heal your bodies, to be able to heal whatever it is that bothers you, your relationships, maybe money, definitely money, because that follows, right? That follows.
Yeah. But with all honesty, like if your bills are paid, then you can focus more on healing yourself and the people around you.
Yes. And we'd like it would be great, because especially in this practice, especially you get so excited when you learn so many new things. You This path is never a straight path. You're gonna go left, you're gonna go right, and it's totally fine. If you feel like, oh, I want to explore this teacher and this teaching right here, go right ahead. And we'd like to give you a heads up on it. Especially now we're in, our lives have definitely changed.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely gonna be more online now, definitely. So you could get more focus on that. It's not about work anymore. It's not about the traffic situation anymore. It's gonna be about you. And there's a medium for that now, and that's online learning. And hopefully we could help you with that. We could help everybody with that.
So you will be doing a launch of your module soon, I was told. I mean, you want to share more about the upcoming event that you're going to be doing?
Well, we were projecting on the full moon, but that might change right now, because we, as much as this is about the intuitive arts, there's also some technology that we need to work on. So definitely we're doing it in May. We'll let you know, and hopefully you can plug it on your show when.
Gladly.
Yeah, when it's close to the. But for now, I'm gonna hold the date, and I'm gonna hold the website. But definitely, we will keep everybody who's on the Facebook page posted. You can all go there. Online Healing Community, blue and white DP. That's what the kids call it, right? The DP.
Yeah. All right. So, like, the way I'm understanding it is that you're going to have a plethora of different classes that are going to be offered, and anybody can, from any walk of life and any level, can enroll. Now, I'm sure people are going to ask, is this going to be for free, or is this going to be for an energy exchange?
It depends. There will be some that will be for free, and there will be some that will have energy exchange, because you have to put your value into learning. So how are you going to present the value that you're going to give into that learning? Energy has to flow. It can't just go in one direction. If you want something to go back to you, if you really want to learn, to maximize your learning out of something, then you're going to have to give a certain amount of energy for that. And right now, the best translation for that is money. But of course, we're there. We're not greedy. We're not.
Yeah. Of course, it's gonna be accessible.
Yeah, but I understand. Filipinos always ask about the money. That's fine. That's totally fine. And but we are here to present some good options for you, and hopefully you'll take that.
All right. Next question I want to ask.
Comments that you have about it and help you out.
Next question I wanted to ask before we go on our first break is this going to be a purely online platform, or are you actually planning physical events once things loosen up in this world?
Oh yeah, wouldn't it be great to be able to meet everybody, right? Physically.
Yeah, ideally.
Especially Filipinos, right? We're very, very social. It's like when we enter a job, right? It always has to be our first judgment call would always be about the social atmosphere and not the work that was given to you, right? It's about the amount of friends you were able to make as opposed to the job that was given to you. And yeah, eventually some physical events, hopefully we can go global as well. It would be great if the local teachers and the local masters here will be able to put them on a global platform, and vice versa.
Amazing. All right, so it's now 8:23 on the clock. Hi, Evo Fair, saying good evening from Dumaguete. We're going to go on our first break. We're going to be back at exactly 8:30. We're right now joined with Miss Chris Estampador. We're talking about the online healing community. We're going to be talking about also how to handle energetic children. I'm willing to bet she can answer on that. And we're going to answer your questions too. So you have to do is pretty much post away and ask your questions. We'll gladly answer them. So Tech, you can take it away. We're going to go on our first break now right here on Mysterium After Dark.
Para enjoy ang pakikinig sa V81 Radio kahit saan. We are now on your Amazon Echo devices. Just say, Alexa, play V81 Radio at i-enjoy ang inyong mga paboritong Pinoy music 24/7. Sabihin lang, Alexa, play V81 Radio. Kabayan, nahuhomesick ka ba? I-download na ang aming mobile app at mag-enjoy sa mga kantang tatak Pinoy and feel like you're home. The V81 Radio mobile app, available in the App Store and Google Play Store. V81 Radio mobile app, free now, free forever. Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kantang tatak Pinoy. Kahit nasaan ka man, kami ay mapapakinggan. Streaming worldwide. The future of radio in Manila, California, and Hong Kong. This is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin. Radio, radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. Radio, radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. Radio, radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino, basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan, kahit nasaan ka man ito'y mapapakinggan. Oh, 81 Radio, 81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. 81 Radio, 81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. 81 Radio, 81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. Dahil mahal namin kayo. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
And we're back to yet another interesting episode of Mysterium After Dark here on V81 Radio. And tonight we are guested by the ever so talented and experienced Miss Christina Estampador. And we're talking about the online healing community. Welcome back, Christina. Please add her to the show.
I am ready.
All right, welcome back. So, here's the one thing I wanted to ask you. When did you finally decide that we're going to go online, we're going to organize a group or a council of people and push this forward? When did you decide to just come out of the closet and start doing what you're doing?
I've been out of the closet for the longest time. I just wouldn't talk to people about it because they weren't ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people usually aren't.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that. It's more like I don't want to scare you.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true.
Yeah, not that I have anything scary to say, but it's more like you're not ready. You're not ready for me, you know.
Exactly.
But it's great. When the online healing community started, it was really actually on the first day of the quarantine.
Mm.
Yeah, in the middle of meditation, early morning meditation. Yeah, I needed to. No, why don't we do this? Let's just have an event. Oh, sure. I'll be happy with a few people, and surprisingly, and way more than that. It's great to see that people do this practice.
So far, ever since you've started this movement, what kind of challenges have you come across that have basically because I also have my own community as well, and I could talk all night about the challenges we have to deal with. But from your own experience, what are some of the challenges that you've come across starting this movement?
Okay, a lot of challenges basically coming from me.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's more like overthinking the situation. Is there an easier way for me to present this without people running and heading for the hills?
Mm-hmm.
Mostly that. Technology was also definitely a challenge because we were still trying it out. Um, and how to make it easier for masters and teachers, etc. It was mostly
Yes.
internal and technology, but I wasn't definitely was not paying attention to what everybody else was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to focus on the intent that we're here just to present a path, or maybe several paths even, and then it's your choice to choose which one.
So basically, you're making a marketplace.
Yeah, if you would put it in technical terms, yes.
All right, because I'm sure people are going to ask, is this something where you're only showcasing Filipino talents for now, or are you also opening your doors to the potential of other teachers, masters, and mentors from other parts of the world joining this movement?
I'm already in talks with a few other teachers. Or one is from South America, one's from Spain, um, and hopefully some also from India and from the US.
Okay.
But right
So, go on.
now, just a couple pa lang naman from abroad.
All right, because like one thing that I personally observed, because I've worked with teachers from abroad, is that sometimes when they're from another country, they expect that the rates people would pay abroad is what people can pay here, which is just sometimes ludicrous. I won't mention any names, but one teacher wanted to teach in Mysterium, and I was like, sure, yeah, let's make that happen. And what does the class look like? And they said, I expect nothing less than $5,000 per person. And just looked at them funny that like, that's $250,000 pesos. You know what? I don't know if anybody here is going to pay that amount here because
Uh-huh.
you understand what I'm saying. It's like there's that translation, and we couldn't come to terms with the fact because they weren't willing to localize their rates. You understand? They weren't willing to say, "All right, I'm going to make it more affordable for Filipinos," which a lot of good teachers do. I mean, like Alex was able to do that with us, and of course Tessa from Canada, she's also able to localize her rates. Now, how do you intend to work with that? Because that is going to happen to you eventually. You're going to meet a teacher who's going to want to work in the Philippines, but they're going to want to get paid, Washington D.C. rates. You understand?
Mhm. That will depend on pricing strategy and marketing
Mm-hmm,
strategy. Hopefully, we can meet somewhere in between.
mm-hmm,
But definitely, there is our audience won't be just Filipinos as well. We intend to bring it across the region, probably even beyond the region.
mm-hmm.
So there will be some people who might sign up and all that, and they will realize the scalability of the prices anyway through this market. So it's all going to be supported by data, and then it's not just going to be because we think we're stopping them. The data is going to prove that I'm sorry, this isn't going to work. So let's do
Mm-hmm.
it some other way. Can we do micro learning instead? Can we like cut the class and then they'll just take it for that one? We'll just offer them those things.
All right, I have a
I'm willing
question.
to go through
What
those.
are the people?
I'm
Sorry.
willing to go
Well,
through those challenges so that I'll learn more about the audience and I'll learn more about them.
all right, because like one thing that one of the people are asking on the chat room is the online healing community something you need to pay monthly for, or is it free to join?
It's free to join. The community is definitely free to join.
Mm-hmm,
I don't think we can subscribe to a subscription model if we're going to think of the of Filipinos at the Philippine
mm-hmm.
market. So it's going to be on a per class. We're gonna per class per student model. But yeah, we will be very conscious with the pricing and we will test which will work.
Next question here on the chat room: are the classes free, or do you have to pay for them?
It depends. Some will be free, some will probably require energy exchange. Especially
Follow
if
up
I think that it
follow up
will.
question here is: are the classes in Filipino or all purely or in English?
Some are comfortable in teaching in English. Some will
Mhm.
probably deliver it in Taglish. I know some of the teachers will be speaking in straight Filipino.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so like the next thing I'd like to personally ask you, what are some of the qualifications that you look for before you accept someone to teach in your community? Because I'm sure you know that there's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, especially in this industry. So do you take any security measures that before you allow somebody to, how do you say,
In,
cohort with your group?
okay. In my case, I will use data.
Uh-huh.
I will use data, the data of our audience from social media and from the website, just to determine which direction to go. And aside from using that, we'll be able to test. That's the thing. We can only test as far as we can go.
Mhm.
And there's also such a thing as being able to rotate the classes, meaning it doesn't have to be on 24/7, 365 days a year. We could just rotate it and see how it goes. Yeah, it
What
goes.
if you
Maybe
have
the market.
what if you have two people wanting to offer the same class within your module? Like you have two people who are willing to offer sound healing, or two people who are willing to offer, let's say, mindfulness meditation. Will you prefer one over the other? Will you allow them both? Will you equally market? I mean, how would that work for you?
Um, Depending on the audience and depending on the level of expertise of that teacher,
Mhm,
it's okay for them to go at the same time. We'll
mhm.
probably mix them for a few weeks or so, and then spread it out. Facebook marketing anyway. You can spread it across.
Is there a maximum cap that you're going to be having per class? Now, I ask this not because of the quality of the instruction. I'm asking this
Mhm.
more because of latency issues. Because, like, if you have like 70 people joining the class,
Mhm.
you're talking talagang, robotic movement where you're just moving around like that, and it slows down the class dramatically.
Uh-huh. Well, it depends on what kind of approach they want to take. Do they want to do it live, or do they want to do it pre-recorded? Do they want to gamify it? Do they want to split it in small units? Depends on how they're gonna be able to do that. If you're gonna talk about latency, that's the Philippine Wi-Fi situation. But
Mhm.
it's definitely they'll be allowed replays if ever anything like that happens. It'll be able they when they go inside their classroom, they will be allowed links for replays if that happens.
So basically, the lessons in this module. Actually, I know the answer to this. I was present at the meeting, but of course the guests don't. The basically the module is not just like Zoom dependent. In other words, we're not just selling a bunch of Zoom classes. It's
Mhm.
multi-platform. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So hypothetically,
And
let's
we
say.
plan, and we plan to use whatever that we can to help out with the module. If you need a blended learning kind of experience, we can do it with that. If you need a community also, if you need to chat with your classmates, we want to do that too.
Okay, so I'm sure that potential people who'd like to work with you would want to know: are you the one who begins to own our intellectual property, or do you just maintain it for us? Meaning,
No, no, we will host it,
uh huh.
and then you're considered the content publisher, right? Like when
That's
you do your book, right?
yeah.
It's yours. When you do your book, it's yours. We're just
Amazing.
hosting it and we're spreading across. We're marketing it and we're letting people know.
The next question that I'd like to ask would be on behalf of the students that involve themselves. In other words, if example I were to host during your module a class, and let's say 50 people attend, do
Mhm.
those students become my students, or are they considered online healing community students? Are they shared? In other words, do I get access to them? Could I like invite them to my own private events afterwards, or are there certain rules that we need to abide by before we work with you?
Mm, we plan to do cross marketing anyway,
Mhm.
so they you will not get their data just that easily because it's a privacy issue, and
Mhm.
we have to ask for that. So we could give you a way to be able to get them to your list
Mhm.
with their permission.
Okay.
Because that's always important when it comes to getting contact details. It has to be done with permission,
Mhm.
more more from the students than it is from us. So if that's really required, if that's a request that you'd like, we'll be able to give them that option, and then they can cross over.
Oh,
Not
that
cross over. They could also go to you directly. Yeah.
okay. So basically, the online healing community will be the one to handle all of the customer data. In other words.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds pretty interesting. All right. What can you say is one of the most unique classes that you're going to be offering on the online healing community upon its launch?
Oh my gosh, I want activation, transmissions, achievements, high level stuff.
Really?
Those interesting things I want to be able to share with the healing community. But that is pretty high level now. Think not these events would or these classes would be not just for your own self-healing, for your self-mastery, but it's also for service and contribution to the world.
Hmm. That's amazing. Because like one of the things I'm curious about right now is like some of these clap practices require actually a very minimal, at least a bare minimal physical presence, like Reiki. I mean, I know Reiki can be done distantly, but of course, when you've had it done with you with the healer placing their hands on you, it's just a completely different thing. So, what will happen if I, example, take a Reiki class in your module? Will I have the option to take a live one down the future, or is it considered already a level one? I mean, I'm just curious how this would work in your module.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Definitely, either it's going to be either live online or a physical live event. Definitely,
Uh-huh.
because it's important for you to be able to be immersed in that community of people healing and be able to get that feedback as well.
Okay,
But
amazing,
some are
amazing.
pretty sharp. Some are pretty sharp. They can feel it across. They can feel it across, and that's okay. But for those who are overthinkers
Hmm.
and who may need to feel it more,
Yeah.
by being physically present, yes, physical live events can happen. Yes.
All right, the next thing I want to ask you is the live events that you want to offer, are you going to be holding these in predominantly Metro Manila, or do you have hopes of bringing it to Cebu, Davao, and the other quadrants of the Philippines?
Yes, right. Yes. Definitely. Well, I'm very stoked to be able to meet people from the intuitive arts in Cebu. I hear it's pretty big over there, and I'm
Hmm.
half Cebuana, so that's gonna be interesting. To be able to do that. Yes, we want to bring it across.
And I guess I have to talk about the elephant in the room. Are there topics that you will not host in online healing community that like, no way. I mean, please no.
Yeah, that's part of my internal processing, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there might be some that we won't. It depends, I suppose, because it's all part of our learning as well. It's all
Hmm.
part of our journey as well. We have to process it. Is this for us, or is this for our students and all that? We will have to go through that process. It's just part of that human consciousness that's still there,
Yeah, of course.
and
You can't deny it. It's always going to be there.
I'm not gonna deny it. I'm not gonna deny it. As much
Hmm.
as I enjoy this path, there's still some trials that you face, and I'm the first one to admit that it. The first screening is never about your criteria or your rules. It's always with you, right?
Yes, of course.
Well, it's always internal. So I'm gonna be the first one to say that. Yes, there's still a part of my consciousness that's concerned about that. Do we just let everybody in or anything like that? So it depends. It really depends. So because what are we to use our intuition for if I don't use that, right?
True, very true. Because like I wanted to ask you if you could dream and have one person be part and give a workshop within this module. Anybody, I mean any person, who would you want to give a workshop within your module? I mean it could be
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer for all I care. I mean anyone.
Wow. For me, Sasha Cobra. Sasha Cobra for energetic sexual healing,
Mm.
and that's a really big issue for Filipinos, right? So
Yeah, that's good that you brought that up. I didn't want to bring that up, but since you talked about it, I'll ask you some questions about that.
um, that would be interesting because that's going to break a lot of um, a lot of limited mindsets.
Hmm.
That's one. That's off the top of my head. There's so many out there. There's even Mark Witt. There's even Bashar. If you've
Hmm.
heard of Bashar, he does a lot of transmissions. Me, I love feeling the energy of Abraham Hicks, Esther
Cool,
Hicks.
cool.
Right? That's so. It's just so invigorating. It's just something about seeing all that light there, right there up on stage with her. Um, those are the few of the people that would be great if we could just project them over. You know.
All right, because here's the thing I wanted to ask you. You mentioned the word sexuality, but instead of just focusing it around that, I'd rather focus more on the topic of taboo so that we can actually get a more holistic way of looking at this.
Okay.
All right, because like the question is this:
Right.
whether we like it or not, we're still in a predominantly Christian nation. Okay,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I've had people throw Bibles at me saying that I am Satan incarnate for what I'm doing, which I guess Satan must be really good looking because he looks like me. So there will naturally be those people who will say what we're doing is wrong, evil, work of the devil,
Mhm.
and in Mysterium we have protocols of handling that. But I don't know yet how you plan to handle this because in the province, especially. I met a lot of opposition that it would overlap from personal preference into even public preference. Like they wanted to kick me out of school just because of doing what I'm doing. And the
Mm.
same thing goes with some people who work regular jobs. They're very quiet about their practices because they don't want to get scrutiny
Mhm.
put upon them. Do you understand? So how do you intend to either mitigate or to dispel these problems in the industry once you start what you're doing?
First, I have to be in that space of equanimity, and hopefully it'll lead to that. Because I also have a prayer practice after meditation, and hopefully
Hmm.
that prayer to higher power will help open some doors for me, open my mind, lead me to the right collaborators, give me the right circumstances. And um, and normally what it teaches me is I don't push.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
push. Wait for everything to happen. Because whenever I push, I'm going to say something stupid, or I'm going to do something stupid, and
Hmm.
that doesn't help. That doesn't help the intention, which was benign in the first place, and it
Yeah.
becomes something else, totally something else. If I focus on on rushing it based on human limitations,
True.
and
I like
well,
that. Don't push.
that topic, especially for that particular topic, I'd like to focus on the sacredness of it. But of
Hmm.
course, that's a very wide discussion. But at least open the discussion. You know,
Yes.
open the discussion and hold that space that we are not here to talk about. Uh, uh, we're not here to talk about pornography. We're here to talk about the sacredness of it all. Some misconceptions about tantra. Tantra wasn't just about sex; it was about
Yes.
rhythm.
Definitely.
It was about spirituality. It just so happens that they embrace that part of us. That part of the human consciousness. The
Well,
part of the human existence, which is sexuality.
sacred
And
sexuality has been present for hundreds of thousands of years. I mean, I
yeah,
think it predates a lot of things. Now,
mm,
the thing about it, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of years. The thing about it is this: it's a very thin ice topic because it's so prone to abuse. So
yes,
what I would like to know is what particularly would be your safeguards to prevent this from happening? Because, like example, I mean, I'm sure you're aware of John of God in Brazil. He
hmm,
was a phenomenon. I mean, people were considering him like a messiah. And
uh-huh,
then it got out that he was abusing this aspect and it
hmm,
just toppled everything.
hmm,
So this is a topic which, if practiced sacredly,
hmm,
is very powerful. But when it's used to abuse things, it can really pull the rug off, under everything. So
hmm.
how do you prevent that from happening within your own movement? Should you make it to that point?
Well, I don't want to push. For me, it's not something that I would push.
Yeah,
It's always a personal journey, and that's one thing great about social media marketing right now is that you can
yeah.
target on someone who's really exploring it, and you don't have
Ah,
to these people into getting it. Facebook marketing doesn't happen. I mean, nobody's impulsive, especially when they buy something online. Um, so you allow them to think about it slowly and slowly, and you're able to present yourself. Now, I'm not here to teach you techniques. I'm here to teach you that this can be sacred with the partner that you're with right now, and it's up to both of you. You can work with it together and all that, and it's up to you how you're going to work with it. As long as you come from that space, that this connection that you're going to have is going to come from a sacred intent.
amazing, because it is very sacred at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And it kind of bleeds my heart sometimes to see how it's been abused. I
Yeah.
mean, it always seems to go back to that. Like a lot of the teachers that fell from grace will end up going back to that. It's like, seriously. I mean, you couldn't control yourself. So it's really something that and the thing about it is,
Mhm.
just sharing a bit on the show, when one person does it wrong, everybody who's doing it gets blamed. Like example, for tarot, as a tarot reader,
Mm.
the one tarot reader who swindles people ruins business for all the tarot readers who don't. because you're a tarot reader. I remember that person got swindled. I don't want anything to do with you. You understand? So you sometimes have to have a very strong zero tolerance play. But I do like the idea that, you are able to, carefully mitigate who should be involved in it or not. Now, the thing I'm going to ask you next is, when we are part of this community, what are some of the things that we can expect? Especially, is it going to be like a la academy kind of style where we can take interlinking classes? Will there be a curriculum, or is it just kind of like a salad bar where you take what you want and then go back to your chair?
I think a salad bar would be more delicious. Because we have to teach people that it's your responsibility as well. Just because the teacher presents itself and presents a good 10 minutes, all of a sudden you're going to put the blame on the teacher for pulling you towards that. No, you have to be responsible as well. Amen. So salad bar, go with what floats your boat.
Because like one thing I've observed is being part of my own intuitive community, you will attract people who can get very clingy. And this is what I wanted to ask you, as one of the teachers, what are going to be your safeguards to protect your teachers from that? Because like they're really going to be those students who are like, Chris, save me. And it's like, oh, geez. And then you have 2 kids of your own. So it's like, hey. And some teachers are really good at boundaries. I really respect that. Other teachers just get really drain dry because they don't know how to say no. So what are going to be some of the things that you implement to prevent that from happening to your faculty?
Well, they should be made aware that there are some people, and the only thing that could really save them is their discernment. Because if they allow it, then it will definitely happen. It's not just because one person is clinging. At some point, you were probably attracting it, right? You were looking for someone who needs you. You were looking for this validation. Is that really what you wanted out of teaching? Or was it really just to share and let everybody choose their path? So they have to go back in with themselves, look into their hero journey again, and what else is there that you need to fix. And eventually, these people disappear anyway.
All right. So yeah, basically, a lot of people want to be saved in all of these communities. Now, is there, aside from the launch, is there any kind of event after all of this ECQ nonsense that we can look forward to where these people will all be together in one physical space?
Well, that's part of the vision, but I haven't thought of how it's going to be laid out just yet, because we still need to work it out. We need to be able to drop the audience still. Say hi.
Oh, hi there.
Hello. Hi.
Yo.
Hi, welcome to the show.
I'm going to Los Angeles for my new friends.
I'm on a radio show right now.
I want to be my new friends.
Okay, that's Rob. He's my friend. I'm on a radio show. I'm going to talk to you.
For acting.
Yes.
Actors.
He wants to be a voice actor.
I want to be actors, please.
Okay. All
right.
right.
Make it happen.
I'll talk to you later. I know it.
It's okay. It's totally okay. Anyhow, do you have any final notes that you want to share to the audience before we wrap up the show? Because we're pretty much done here today.
For everybody who wants to explore the intuitive arts and don't know which direction to take, we're offering you a salad bar.
There you go. Remember the rule of the salad bar: take what you want, leave what you don't. At the end of the day, the choice is completely up to you.
Just enjoy it. Yeah.
All right. So that being said and done, we're going to pretty much end early tonight. We've had Chris Estampador of the online healing community. We're ending early because we did not go on our second to the last break. But aside from that, thank you so much for what you are adding to the intuitive community. As a member of it and as a leader within it, I actually am thankful that more people like you are stepping up. We need people like you. So that being said and done, for those of you out there who are bored with your COVID experiences, you got nothing to do, check up the online healing community. We got a lot of classes coming your way. If you want to learn from quality professionals, they will set you up. So that being said, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all the best. More power to you.
Okay. Good night. Good night, Rob. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night. Good night. Take it away.
Pinoy Tatak Pinoy. The future of radio. This is your all hits, all Pinoy internet radio station. This is V81 Radio Worldwide.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan.